In this video, I will show how to increase your FPS and optimize your PC for better gaming experience. All you have to do is simply follow along and download some free software for your PC.
NET is a developer platform made up of tools, programming languages, and libraries for building many different types of applications. There are various implementations of it. Each implementation allows NET code to execute in different places: Linux, Mac OS, Windows, iOS, Android, and many more. NET framework is the original implementation of it. It supports running website services, desktop apps, and more on Windows. NET is a cross-platform implementation for running website services and console apps on Windows, Linux, and NET standard is a formal specification of the API that are common across NET implementations. This allows the same code and libraries to run on different implementations. I will put the link in the description. As you can see that there are many different versions of NET, and some are out of support. We will recommend you to download the latest version of .NET. For the gaming experience, you need runtime. The other is for developers. I have already installed it on my PC. If you don't have, then you can continue.
DirectX and User Runtime Web Installer. Microsoft DirectX is already included in Windows XP Service Pack 2, Windows Server 2003 Service Pack 1, Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8.0, Windows 8.1, Windows 10, and Windows Server equivalents. This DirectX and User Runtime does not change the version of DirectX, but does install a number of optional side-by-side technologies from the legacy DirectX SDK that are used by some older games. Note that desktop bridge applications that use D3DX9, D3DX10, D3DX10, X Audio 2.7, X Input 1.3, or XAct must use the Microsoft DirectX 86/Microsoft DirectX x64 framework to deploy these legacy DirectX SDK side-by-side components. Alternatively, developers can remove all such dependencies. See Microsoft Docs for more details. Supported operating system: Windows Server 2008, Windows XP Service Pack 3, Windows Server 2003 Service Pack 1, Windows Server 2003 Service Pack 2, Windows 7, Windows XP Service Pack 2, Windows Vista. Click the download button on this page to start the download, or choose a different language from the drop-down list and click Go. Do one of the following. To start the installation immediately, click Open or run this program from its current location. To copy the download to your computer for installation at a later time, click Save or save this program to disk. The DirectX and User installation includes the D3DX, HLSL compiler, X Input, X Audio, and Manage DirectX 1.1 components. Note that the DirectX runtime, Direct3D, Direct Input, Direct Sound, is not part of this package as it is included as part of the Windows operating system, and therefore cannot be installed or uninstalled. Updating the DirectX runtime is achieved by installing the latest service pack, or obtaining a newer version of Windows. For information on obtaining DirectX 11 for Windows Vista or Windows Server 2008, see Microsoft Knowledge Base Article 971644. The DirectX and User Runtimes installer contains all of the components installed by the web installer in a single package and is recommended for those users that do not have an internet connection during installation.
OpenAL, Open Audio Library, is a cross-platform audio application programming interface (API) It is designed for efficient rendering of multi-channel three-dimensional positional audio. Its API style and conventions deliberately resemble those of OpenGL. OpenAL is an environmental 3D audio library, which can add realism to a game by simulating attenuation, degradation of sound over distance, the Doppler effect, change in frequency as a result of motion, and material densities. OpenAL aimed to originally be an open standard and open source replacement for proprietary and generally incompatible with one another 3D audio APIs such as Direct Sound and Core Audio, though in practice has largely been implemented on various platforms as a wrapper around said proprietary API or as a proprietary and vendor-specific fork. While the reference implementation later became proprietary, there are open source implementations such as OpenAL Soft available.
Microsoft Xeni Framework Redistributable for Point Zero. The Xeni Framework Redistributable provides the necessary runtime components to execute a game on Windows that was developed using Microsoft Xeni Game Studio for Point Zero. This release contains improved functionality as well as new features. Installation of this runtime is unnecessary on systems with Microsoft Xeni Game Studio for Point Zero already installed. The Microsoft Software License Terms for Microsoft Xeni Game Studio 4.0 covers the terms under which developers may use the redistributable. For full details, review the Microsoft Xeni Game Studio 4.0 license terms. Supported operating system: Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows Vista. To run Xeni Framework games on a computer running a Windows operating system, you need a graphics card that supports, at minimum, Shader Model 1.1 and DirectX 9.0. We recommend using a graphics card that supports Shader Model 2.0, which is required by some samples and starter kits. Installation: 1. Click the download button. 2. To start the installation immediately, click Run. 3. To save the download to your computer for installation at a later time, click Save. 4. To cancel the installation, click Cancel.
After following and installing all the software, now you can restart your PC, and now you will see a good increase in your gaming experience and better stability.